Hey, it's Soul. It's Friday. Let's do this. First, it's less than 25 days till Legion is activated for millions of players, with a small portion of them being able to play the game. Many more will sit at their desks looking at disconnect screens, massive lag, or Twitter feeds waiting for updates on the obvious DDoS attack. Many more still will sleep, and in the morning wade through the rivers of salt and maybe have a pleasant experience. No guarantees, but you can probably expect an update from me on a basic leveling guide and endgame prep, because they're really outdated by now. For those who've been waiting around to resubscribe to WoW or make your pre-purchase of Legion, I'll reiterate that the Demon Hunter class will be available August 9th for owners of Legion, while the in-game events leading up to Legion's launch will start for all players, including what hopes to be a killer cinematic at the end of the Broken Shore event. Check out wowtoken.info and check prices for game time in your region. If you didn't know, you can purchase game time with gold to check things out. Or you can open a GM ticket to beg for a 7-day trial. That kinda seems to work for some players too. And if you haven't seen it already, there's an extended preview to watch going over all the major features of the expansion. Links to that and just about everything featured in today's news are included in the description below. More detailed, in-depth looks are underway as well, with previews of 2 dungeons released today. In the wake of the August 9th announcement and the Demon Hunter Q&A, Jeremy Fiesel and Jonathan LeCraft conducted separate interviews with popular sites MMO Champion and Wowhead. They tackle a lot of questions that weren't asked during the July 29th VOD, with some being more useful than others. I mean, Demon Hunters versus Death Knights? Come on. Arthas and Illidan already answered that question. Blizzard issued a statement clarifying the direction Marks of Honor will have in Legion, and the general PvP reward system that's currently in place. Marks of Honor is exclusively a currency for purchasing older PvP sets, or in other words, cosmetic gear. It's a currency contained in PvP strongboxes, which are obtained after completing a battleground or an arena. It will continue to drop in Legion and is account bound, so you can use your ideal PvP tune to deck out an entirely different one in cosmetic gear. While we're on PvP, Blizzard also updated their thread on the PvP stat templates, reflecting current changes to the knobs, so to speak, that dictate the relative strength of each class's stats and abilities. It's a nice gesture and easy for a layman like myself to understand or have a foundation to complain about. Go check it out. A compromise was struck on the max camera distance debate. Watcher, aka Ian Hazacostas, made a statement clarifying the reasoning for reducing the zoom, moving away from the competitive advantage stance to a position of preserving the game's overall look and feel. That's a bit harder to complain about or debate, but he did acknowledge that more work will need to be put into balancing zoom distance against mechanics that come off screen like slimes, iron stars, and other such things. In the meantime, as a band-aid to the underlying problem, the max distance will again be increased via console command, but it'll still be a bit less than what it was originally. My expectation though is at some point when Blizzard has come to terms with giant bosses and off-screen mechanics, this topic will be revisited once again. Maybe by then players will be more receptive to it, although PvPers will probably still have something to be dissatisfied about. Personally, if you just let me move my character from the middle of the screen to like here, I'll be pretty happy. Another Harbingers video was released the other day, this time featuring Illidan, the godfather of Demon Hunters. I'm a little puzzled by this one, and it was cool. It did a lot to reflect the events of the Illidan book, which I suggest you read, preferably legally. But this is more like the story of the Illidari, and not the founder himself. It's still worth checking out, or if you don't have an ad blocker on YouTube, just wait a while. If the Khadgar video is any indication, you're gonna see it eventually. As if comics and video shorts weren't enough, a Legion audio drama was released over the past week, and as a fan of these sorts of things, I was really blown away by how well done it was. The 4 parts in total clock in at 90 minutes, and along with a link to that, for you people with eyeballs, I also provided a link to a readable script. In short, it's a story about the tomb of Sargeras, and it centers on Khadgar and Gul'dan, and it does a really good job of setting up a sense of urgency, and more importantly, the hype. If you read or listen closely enough, this story is about the players too. Our final thing of the day is the release of the Activision Blizzard quarterly report. It's great to see that overall the company is performing well, but between Blizzard no longer releasing subscriber numbers and that the health of Activision Blizzard is based on a lot of very big segments, it's hard to break down the health of a single game like World of Warcraft. From the report we can see that Blizzard has made a lot of revenue, probably thanks to the Overwatch launch. Subscription revenues are lumped with purchases from downloadable content and microtransactions from all Activision Blizzard's games. So think of optional transactions from games like Overwatch, Hearthstone, Candy Crush, Destiny, and others. This also includes royalties and licensing, which might include whatever NetEase pays to license WoW. Without a doubt, China's recent shift from an hourly to a monthly based subscription will have some effect on this number. Anyway, this is Warcraft news, and there is at least one gem to read past the whole monthly active user metric and operating whatever. It's that Legion pre-purchases are tracking in line with the previous expansion. Now, this could mean a lot of things. It could mean that suddenly over 10 million players will be beating down the doors of the expansion's launch, which I doubt. Realistically, I see that statement as a relative comparison to the launch of Warlords of Draenor. Subs ballooned from about 7.5 million subs to 10. That's an over 30% increase, which is pretty impressive. The quarterly statement suggests that, based on current trends of pre-sales, Blizzard will probably enjoy a similar surge based on whatever number of subs we're sitting at, maybe around springtime. So it won't be a gain of 2.5 million subs, but it's a clear surge. Sub numbers have been a cool little flag to wave for your team, or a weapon to beat people over before burying them in WoW is dead memes. Sub numbers have proven themselves time and time again to be a double-edged sword. The health of WoW, though, isn't totally defined by that metric. It's also defined by how that number translates to each player's individual experiences. It's defined if your raid or RBG team is ready to go at its scheduled time. It's if your dungeon queue is short enough, even though it's 2 in the morning, or if there are enough people to gank out in the open world. It's if enough materials are available in the auction house, or if there are enough sellers bringing down that asshole jacking up the prices. It's if you're finding the game fun, and not what Blizzard's score is, at least not so much entirely. The health of WoW is defined by you, your team, your guild, friends and family in your realm. And with a cautious hope, I think that Legion will help the health of WoW improve and continue to thrive. That's the news. Next week I might try to revisit an old topic on if WoW has become too easy. With Legion just around the corner, this piece could probably wait, but I think there are a few things I can look at and draw at least a few comparisons. There's bound to be a lot to report on as usual, and you can count on me to condense some of it every Friday. Like and sub for more failed attempts at humor, and otherwise, you have a good weekend. I'm Soul. Stay breezy, guys.